Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So it's time for the 714 method, and yesterday I missed the drop. So today I'm really not going to do that again. I'm going to be in this trade. So first of all, I actually made this analysis out explaining whilst doing this analysis today. When I came inside to trade, right, I was like, I've not been in any trade, so let's make an analysis before we execute the trade. So as you can see, I had what three levels. This is level one, which is the most or the highest what demand zone. Level two right here, and this is the third level. Now this third level is just below the Fibonacci retracement zone. So obviously we also know for sure that this right here is a very huge what swing high that just got broken. So if price wants to take out this last what swing high, it has to pull liquidity from below the Fibonacci retracement, right? So that's just by the way. Now let's go ahead and trade the 714 method. So I actually forgot to tell you guys. I made this indicator just to help me do what identify these lines right here. So if you look closely, you can see that I actually have that indicator set up just above this zone right here. So the job for this indicator is to just actually do what? Identify the 714 method lines when it's time for the 714 method. So I don't have to come inside and trade it again. So you can go and check it out. I don't know if you check on the indicators tab. I don't know whether you get it or not, but this is what it will look like. So yeah, this is what it will look like if you probably search. Maybe I don't know if you get it or not. So someone should check and see if it's there. Then that would be good. But if it's not there, then I'll probably have to try my best, and you guys should comment so that I'll just create a group for it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop the code of this indicator right there so that you can equally use it on your charts, right? So here we have the setup, how you are going to set up the indicator, which is you have to go to the indicator and change some values right here. So let me go ahead and show you the values that you need to change. So when you set the indicator itself, so let's go inside the settings, right? When it's default, so reset. So when it's default, this is what it looks like. You see that it did not actually mark the 714 meter zone, right? So you have to change this right here to what 7, and you have to change this right here to what 8, I think. Yes. So yes, that is it. When you just do this, you are good to go, and you can see it right here. So let's go ahead and trade the 714 method. Obviously, I've already told you guys today I did a very serious analysis with it, so it's just going to help me, right? But you can already see that we are in a downtrend. And if we are in a downtrend, our expectations are what price is going to hit a zone and we'll start doing what shooting all the way up. So you can see that we are in a downtrend. So what do I do right now? I can go ahead and execute my buys. Why am I executing my buys right here? I'll show you in a minute, but I don't want price to actually go and leave me behind, right? So the reason why I'm executing is because price actually showed a reason to buy. You can see the rejection, this huge sell right here. That is a very serious rejection. At the same time, price is indicating below this zone right here that right there becomes a very strong zone. Right here becomes a very strong support zone. So there's no way you should be thinking about doing what? Selling more. If price could push through and come all the way back to this zone again, there's a high chance price is not going to break this low. We are going to continue shooting all the way up. So right now I can now bring back the 714 lines. So where do I actually think price is going to? I think first of all, let me change this to a bigger view so that it will not be distracting. So I actually think price is going way up to, let's say, this high right here. And after this high, maybe we'll have a push all the way back down. Why am I actually targeting that high? It's not because I just want to catch a bigger move. Yes, that is also included, but it's also because I'm looking at these two zones right here. If price actually pushes back into this fair value gap and we have a rejection, we'll be dropping either to the third or the second zone right here, or the first zone right here, because it might use it as inducement. So that is why I actually mark those two zones right there. But yes, that is just what we are looking at today. It's going to be a very simple trade because price has been in a downtrend for a very long time. So that is the type of trade that we are going to get today. We are going to get a very massive trade. Now, I actually wanted news to come in so that it will push price all the way up. But I don't think we have news right now. News is still very, very far around this zone right here. I think that would be on a that would be tomorrow, right? Do we actually have news today? I think this is Friday. We actually have news today because I did not actually check. I did not actually check. I don't know whether there's news or not. I think a serious news will be on what Friday. But yes, that's just by the way. This is what we are currently looking at. The 714 method is going to push all the way up because we are in a downtrend. So I've told you guys several times, if you are in a downtrend, you are supposed to do what? Buy. But if the overall trend is telling you to sell, continue selling. Now look at the overall trend right here, from here all the way down to this zone. We were selling. In any case, the 714 method was around this zone, I'll still be looking forward for sales. But you can see that we've created a base with the 714 method. We've created a base just around this zone right here. You can see that, right? There's a base. And when I also take out this, you can see the rejection from here all the way up. This doesn't mean price will not come back to this rejection. That is where your stop loss comes in. So I have to close this before I now know where my stop loss should be. This rejection shows a series of what sellers coming and buyers coming into the market to counter trade the what the sell trend. So my stop loss should be below this zone right here. Whatever I do, my stop loss should be below this zone right here. So let's go ahead and calculate my stop loss for this trade because my execution is quite huge, right? So you can see that my risk is what 4 right here, which is 4k, and my reward is 27k, right? So this is how you actually find your what risk to reward ratio. A lot of people say 1 is to 5, 1 is to this. No, I actually execute my trade before I find my risk to reward ratio, and I always make sure that my reward is better than my risk. Do you understand that? It's not every trade that is going to give you a 2% risk. You can't get that in every single trade. Some trades are there. This might be your risk. Do you understand that? Yes. So you don't have to have a tangible or just a standard risk to reward ratio. No, it's not meant for every single trade. So this is what we are having now. Obviously, you can see that I'm risking 4k right here to make what 27k right there, right? So what is my risk to reward ratio? Now, first of all you need to do is just divide what 27 by 4, and you're going to get what 6, right? So indirectly, I'm willing to gain what 6 times what I'm going to lose. Do you understand that? So my risk to reward is just 1 is to 6. Very, very simple. So if I'm willing to lose $4,000 right here, I'm willing to gain what 6 times that $4,000 that I'm going to lose. All right, so actually wanted to get back to this. I wanted to write this before we continue the video, and this is what is happening, right? So I wanted to show you guys the risk to reward. So the risk to reward on this trade is what 1 is to 6. Why is it 1 is to 6? I'm willing to lose. Sorry, the risk to reward on each trade, because I'm having 2 trades right here. So the risk to reward on each trade is what 1 is to 6. So I'm willing to actually lose what 4k to gain what 27k right here. Now all you need to do is just the math, right? And it's very, very simple. 27 divided by 4 is 6 point something, I think, but I don't actually know what's up. So it's just going to be 6 times, right? So that will obviously tell me that yes, I'm willing to risk 4, but to make what 6 times of that 4 that I'm actually willing to do what to risk, right? You understand the concept? Very, very simple. So on this trade, the risk to reward is what 1 is to 6. Very, very simple and very, very easy. So yes, you could actually trade the 714 method today. It's not really going to be any big deal, to be honest. It wouldn't be any big deal because price has just reached the retracement zone. I'm actually waiting for a massive push. If we don't have a massive push right there, we'll probably lose the trade, and I'll be looking forward for an entry either around this zone right here or maybe within this range, because I think yes, it's common for price to actually push through before coming all the way back up, right? So it's quite common. So that can actually happen. There's no problem with that. You always try your best and understand what you are doing, understand what price is going to give you, and understand when to execute and when to exit a trade, right? But yeah, that is just it. This is what I'm actually having. So let's actually wait, see what's going to happen with the trade, because I think there's no news today like that. There are huge news on different pairs, but on gold, I think there's not really any big news. So
A few minutes later.
all right, so I just got a message that price has actually went through my stop loss. So I've lost about 8K on this trade. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. There's not really any problem. There's nothing to worry about. All we need to worry about is our next trade. And what we need to do is understand what happened right here. So we can see that there was a lot of consolidations around this zone, and I consider this as the final push. What do I mean by the final push or the final pull? Meaning, when there's a lot of consolidations, the trend looks like an uptrend. It wants to buy, right? But it needs to reach a certain zone before it buys. Now, I marked this zone because when you go to the daily time frame, this is what we are having. So the daily time frame, that is a very serious what support zone for price, right? Price can hit this and continue pushing all the way up. So that's why I marked it. And you can see that when price actually came back to it, we are now having series of what rejections. So what I need to do is look at a smaller time frame, understand what just happened right there. How can I execute another trade? Because price wasn't ready, but is price ready now? Because I don't actually want to lose another trade again, and I don't also want to lose another what money again. So yes, I can also see another zone being created right here. A lot of what buyers in the market around this zone right here, but that still doesn't guarantee a buyer's market. It doesn't guarantee that. It doesn't guarantee a buy trade. No, it doesn't. Until price actually confirms this, nothing is guaranteed, because looking at buyers coming into the market right here, you can also see above this zone right here, that is a double top right there. So yes, still it doesn't guarantee anything. But if this candle actually closes either around this zone right here, or if it actually closes above this, that guarantees a buyer's market. It shows that the buyers around that zone were quite strong. So I can buy a trade there. So I just have to wait and understand what is happening, just understand what's going on, so that I'll be able to execute another trade. You don't have to execute a sell trade if your bias is what buys. If I'm looking for buys, because I know the buys is going to give me a huge what risk to reward ratio. The sells are not going to do that for me, so I don't have to be looking for what sells right now. I have to be looking for what buys. And I think New York just opened just right now, so we might want to retest what London's lows before we continue shooting all the way down, or before we reverse all the way up. But yes, that is a very strong zone for price to react from. A reaction from here is good. I want a confirmation before a trade. If there's no confirmation there, then I'll have to wait until price gets down to this zone right here. I don't look forward for selling today. I only look forward for what buying today, because I want to catch the bigger trend, not the smaller trend, right? So right now we've seen a counter trade right here. We can see a push followed by a pull all the way down. We can see this counter trade right here. Can you see it? Just inside this zone right here, you can see buyers coming into the market extremely strong. This doesn't just indicate that buyers are taking over, it indicates that the trend is about to do what? Start pushing all the way up. So right now, what do? I can go to a bigger time frame, like a 5 minute time frame, just to start executing my trade. So by the looks of the 5 minute time frame, we can see that we are almost there. Our candle is almost closing, right? So I will not actually allow the candle to close before I execute. I have to execute before the candle closes, so that if a new candle is going to shoot all the way up, I'll not be caught above this zone right here, right? So yeah, this is the second trade of the day. I know price actually wanted to push just to somewhere, and price has actually done it, right? So right now is the best time for price to start pushing all the way up. And at the same time, we can also see we are having a fair value gap right here. So there's a high chance that this fair value gap will actually shoot price back down. But because we've had a confirmation below this zone, on a 1 minute time frame, indicating that buyers cannot actually do what? The sellers cannot actually push through this zone right here. What are we doing? We are executing our buys and we are putting our stop loss just below that zone right there. So where should I be calculating for price to go up next? First of all, it's still going to be the same trade. So I just got a message. All right, so I had to do something on what Euro JPY because a setup just got triggered there. But yes, as you can see, we have finally started pushing all the way up, all because we hit that zone right there. So yes, if you lose a trade, that doesn't necessarily mean you are going to lose for the whole day. No, it doesn't actually mean that way. But yes, you have to actually calculate your entry. I would have been looking for sales, but the basic reason why I wasn't looking for sales is because the trend wasn't ready to sell again. It was ready to do what? Buy, right? So yes, it's still going to be the same the same risk to reward ratio. It's still going to be the same. I'm not willing to risk more than four. So this right here is all right. It's not even up to four, but it's all right. I usually just risk 4K on every single trade. Yeah, but it's not, sometimes it's not even up to that. So it's all right. So this right here now becomes the second trade, and I hope this trade is the one that actually pushes price all the way up. Just below this should be my stop loss, and should be all right. So the second trade is also just going to be the same as the first trade. I'm still going to be looking forward for price getting to those highs right there, which is just around this zone right here. Very, very nice. So yes, that's just the same thing that I want to see. I don't want to actually see any different thing happening. I want to see the trend continuation. Price should be able to push all the way up. Sorry, I deleted that. I actually think that right there is a low that price was actually coming back to hit. So you see what just happened, right? You see what just happened. Price actually took me out of the trade because it actually wanted to go somewhere. It wanted to hit what a support zone, which is this level right here. I've told you below the retracement line, which is the 61% retracement, which is this. I think I have to change it to what red. So which is this line right here. It's not even visible at all again. So let me just do this. All right. So which is this red line right here. Below its price has to find a zone if it wants to continue pushing all the way up. And you can see that it's actually using the resistance zone of the daily time frame, which is this right here. I've marked it already. So yeah, that is what I'm currently looking at. That's what I'm currently looking at. But yeah, it's almost the same. But let's go ahead and calculate the risk to reward ratio on this as well. So it's not really a big deal. You already know what's going to happen. You just have to understand. You just have to know how to divide whatever you are doing, right? So let's divide it. I'm not really okay for losing that because I could have actually understood that. No, I couldn't have actually understood that price wants to push all the way down more. But if I was on the setup, probably I would have actually saved a lot. Yeah, I would have actually saved a lot. But that's not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is my next trade and how I'm actually going to do what revive this right here. So that is my problem right now, not the trade that I've already lost, right? It shouldn't be my problem. So the final TP is going to be what 34. You see me using final TP because usually I actually allow the second trade to push at least to a very standard high and I'll just get out of one trade or maybe around this zone. If I'm seeing rejections, I'll just get out of one trade, leaving the final one to push all the way up, right? Yeah. So that is what I'm actually looking at. So if we're having 34K, we divide it by what? Three, right? So we get about 11, right? So I'm trying to profit 11 times what I'm going to lose, right? So if I'm going to lose 3K right here, I'm trying or hoping for price to give me 11 times that amount, which is around 34, right? So yeah, that is what I'm doing. So the next trade is what the risk reward ratio is basically almost the same thing as the first trade, right?
Many months later.
All right, so I'm about to close the first trade. I've told you guys if price actually get back to this zone right here, I'll be tempted to close it, and you don't know what this actually does until you start doing it, right? So yes, I'm done with the trade right there. I'm done. So I'm currently left with only one trade, which stop loss is also at break even, just within this zone right here. So I'll now be trailing this stop right. I'll now be trailing this stop loss. That is all I need to do. Why do you think I did this? A lot of people not understand, but that is the reason why I always execute two trades, because it helps with what? Trading psychology. It helps a lot. There's no way you are going to lose money and it will not affect you in the forex market. There's no way. You are going to feel it. No matter how it is, you are still going to feel it. So since I'm currently in profit, I've executed two trades. One of the trades is 11K in profit. My overall loss for the day is what? 8K. I can go ahead and do what? Close that first trade, which is the 11K in profit, so that I can now focus on trailing this stop loss. This is not going to harm me in any way because I'm currently now in profit. Remove 8K from what? 11K, I'm still going to be in what? In profit. So indirectly, I've just made up for the day plus some little profit, and I can now watch the trade move peacefully. I can now go ahead and leave the setup. I can now go ahead and do whatever I want because I can just be there whenever I need to come back and trail the stop. I'll come back and trail the stop. Or I'll put alarm if price actually hits these highs right here. I'll come back and trail a stop. Simple as that. So that is what you actually do most of the times, and it actually helps. That's why you always see me executing two trades at the same time, because it helps a lot when it comes to what? Trading psychology. So let's look at what actually happened. Why did price push all the way up? Yes, I've already said it. I wanted a push from this zone right here. Now, this is why it's very, very important to always wait for price to start moving. You see that I actually got into the trade early. What does price do? Price actually push all the way down to its favorite zone, or a zone that it actually wanted to go through. It doesn't Price doesn't look at what you wrote or what you price doesn't really concern itself about your levels, right? Your levels doesn't matter until price says it does. So you can see that price came back to the daily what? Resistance zone, and we are shooting all the way up. So as I was already saying, I wanted price to actually take out these two highs right here so that we hit this resistance zone. I want to see whether price can reverse back from there to this level before we continue pushing all the way up or not. So that is just what I wanted to know. But yes, this is what happened. You can see the price actually respected the fair value gap. Very, very nice. Even after pushing all the way through, it came back and respected it. So that is one thing about fair value gaps. You can always wait for price to push through it before you execute your trade, because price fluctuates. It can go through and still respect it. But yeah, that is it. I lost the first trade. It wasn't a good loss, to be honest. It wasn't. And no matter what you do, if you lose a trade, you are not going to be happy, especially if it's the first trade of the day. I wasn't going to trade the whole day. This is just the first trade that I've executed, and it's a loss. So all I need to do is take my time, understand what is happening, wait for price to settle. When price settles, a lot of people who have been looking forward for sales just around this zone because price has pushed all the way down. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait for a reason for an execution. If there's no reason, I don't execute a trade. So right now, what is my reason for being in this trade? I still look forward for an upward movement, but when price gets below this zone right here, it should be able to do what? To take me out of the trade at 13 or at 3K right there. So when you take me out at 3K, it should actually be below this zone right here. Yeah. So the reason why I'm putting it below that zone is because there's a fair value gap right here, which could actually be a zone where price could pull a liquidity and continue to shoot all the way up. But if price is not going to shoot all the way up from this zone, then it should take me out of what? 3K. Adding to that 11K, that is 14K. So indirectly, if you remove that what 8K from that 14K, I'm still going to be in profit. Overall day profit, I'm still going to be right. So that is just it. That's it for today's 7-1 for me that I actually had a loss. I was looking forward for a buy because of the bigger time frame. And yeah, that's what happens. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching.